And hello and welcome everybody and happy September, Wednesday, September 1st for week 8 in Big Brother 23 House, USA edition, of course. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader and co-host Jaemeel Robinson here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you may be listening to us on the audio version. Welcome everybody. We're going to be breaking down this episode tonight and the whole greater strategy of the game and and the greats of season 23 like Sketch B herself. As we saw tonight, the power of veto was used by Hannah on Xavier, who was a third nominee. So now we remain with this. Kyland and SB must be the nominees. You know, everyone knows what the plan is.
Everybody knows what the plan is. Pick a partner and sit next to him. You've been with it every morning, every afternoon, and every midnight.
There's no way Kyland and Sarah Beth, it was destiny for them to remain on this block this week. No twist could get in the way.
Destiny? Do you have the clip? Did you get the clip? Destiny.
I did. No, I Taryn Armstrong has it on his board. I listened to his live feed thing today. Where yeah, so it's it was great. Okay, Jeff, how are you doing? Kyland, you're channeling Kai here in your caption tonight. What was your favorite? Was it his conflicting emotions?
I have a lot of conflicting emotions.
He's a torn up guy. He has a lot going on. He didn't want to pack a bag.
He's a robot. He's a robot playing this game, and
he was crying watching the movie.
Oh my god, watching a movie.
But it was a bit forced. It was I don't know.
He saw all the humans around him crying, so he's like, I must elicit a response.
Yeah. Yeah, you just brought up Taryn, and he's often called a robot, but I think Kai has got him beat. He only has one emotion, and it's just calm.
What is it? Calm and kind?
Just calm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hannah was not having his shenanigans.
In no universe was I ever going to use the veto on you.
No universe. Not even in Marvel's What If, where many things can happen. No. Hannah says no. It would never happen. No universe.
None. I think you've been spending a little too much time with Sketch B. Sorry, SB.
Hannah throwing the shade tonight, Jeff.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan. She's all I got left, but I'm not a big fan of her. I find her just to be a mean girl and just kind of
she can do the splits.
Yeah, she just throws daggers and I don't know. She rubs me the wrong way. Like both her and Kai do, but like that conversation was painful for me tonight to watch.
Well, that's your opinion, and I hear it, but I think that in the future, maybe if we come with the best intentions.
I wasn't sure if you were Kyland or Hannah yet.
Oh no! Remember, you have to start your word, pause, and kind of drift, and then continue.
Yeah, put you to sleep. Remember, don't forget, put them to sleep.
He whispers to this woman at night for hours, just whispers about all this stuff, man. Then he's literally like, I don't understand this man at all, and we'll talk about it. Right. It's not even, I wouldn't even classify it as spoilers. It's just idiocy with the things he's doing.
What if we drop the attitude on both of our parts?
I think it's a lot of it is overconfidence. I think he sees how well it worked on Sketch B, and I think he expects it to work just as well on his alliance members. But the problem is, everyone sees his game in his alliance. You know, this is everyone sees everybody's game in this alliance, and you know, at the same time, I'm just kind of thinking to myself, like, all right, can we get through the next 2 weeks so we can get to the 6th and I don't have to deal with this anymore. We can actually see a real gameplay, because you know a lot of it's just pretend. It's you know, we saw tonight.
It's all show and dance.
It's show and dance stuff, and I find it to be mundane and uninspiring.
What's uninspiring?
Like, okay, tonight with what Tiffany and Hannah were doing with Claire in the HOH room and stuff, and they were just doing this song and dance pony show for her, and I just, like I said to Amanda, I was like, do you think this is like good gameplay? And she was like, well, yeah, I mean, they're playing her and they're doing, what else are they gonna, they have to play her. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, they have to do that, but is it good gameplay? Like, it's kind of like it's low hanging fruit. That's how I look at it.
Well, it's kind of like, don't hate the player, hate the game. It's the people. That's how they're going to try to maximize their odds of winning. Every time. I was thinking about this a lot today. What's going on in Big Brother, and that the fact that like probably the next 3 weeks of this house are and who's getting evicted is almost certainly set. So like the 6 are going to run this. They are not going to waver. The off chance that somebody who's not in the 6 wins it, they have it so covered. So many different ways, so many versions and scenarios that you couldn't. It's so hard for them to mess it up. That's why Tiffany, like all Tiffany can do, is be beside herself tonight, with Kylan, and
You're gonna sit your ass next to Sarah Beth on that block, Kylan. You're gonna shut up about it.
Doesn't she sound like she's like shouting from her stoop? It's like, you better sit your ass down, Carlos, from up there. I know you ain't couldn't talk to me like that.
Yeah, like remember when I sat next to Claire on the block? Remember when it was my turn? No, actually, I know it hasn't happened. Has it?
No, but she says that she would. Right?
She would, but she never has had to.
Yeah, true.
Right? Like, because it's not time for Claire to go.
Oh, the debate rages on.
Yeah. Tiffany, it comes from this place of superiority above everybody else in the house, and I just think. I just like any audience member, I think, kind of wants to see some of these people get blindsided in a way. Like, that's what I want to see. Anyway, I don't know about you guys, but I just want to see one of these players, especially Tiffany, Kylan, and Xavier. I want to see those players get completely blindsided, and not just like from their power, but from their influence on other players. And that's why I think Hannah's in a really good spot in this house, but she kind of ruins it with like her attitude. At least she does it in the DR. She is smart, but she rubs me the wrong way.
She's your draft pick.
I know.
That's okay. You don't have like, you have to like enjoy the gameplay of your pick. Like, excuse me, right? We don't all have Xavier, Mr. Number 1 pick. Right. The person I want to see eat crow is Big D. I want him to like get eliminated, and just on the way out, what? Just on the way out, like Julie announces like, and the house will get a special appearance by Beyonce. You're not gonna get it. You'll be in the jury house, and just the sadness that will radiate from this man will be. I wish I could just eat it up. That'd be great.
I have the opposite opinion of you, Jaemeel, and that's why this podcast is great, because I want to see Big D get to the end of this game, because he's the only one I really am entertained by. When he didn't get picked to go see the movie tonight, it was my favorite part of the episode.
Thanks, Anna.
Yeah, exactly.
Hannah, you definitely did me dirty, and I will not forget it, my love. I wanted to see this movie badly, so I'm a little bummed that I'm missing out on that experience.
He makes me laugh. He makes me smile. Whereas like that makes me like just upset at her attitude. Like, so I don't know. I want to see him go far in the game now. I'm cheering for Big D. He's my guy.
Hannah for life.
I'm okay with the villain, and so Hannah, if she leans into that, Jeff, we talk about it so much, like how we want people to be more of that, right? And when they do, yes, we get like that feeling at unlikable, or like I don't admire that, quality or whatever. So.
Dave, but understand, right? Understand. What he's going to enjoy is when that person gets their comeuppance, right?
Yes.
So
if they do,
like, so if there was a scale, which is Big D getting farther, or Hannah getting their comeuppance, or people like then getting the comeuppance, he'll want the comeuppance. he'll want them to eat crow. He want them to cry, thinking I was in such a good position and now I'm good. Like Jeff will be there. He'd just be like, "Oh yes, give me more."
Yum 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 yum, as Xavier.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Supposed to
is
see the world burn, right?
that is partially it, Dave and Jaemeel, but it's also the fact that like I'm okay with a villain, but make me laugh, make me enjoy you. Like I find for me, and if you guys like her, that's fine. But for me, Hannah, I kind of like I don't come out of like her DRs laughing or smiling and going, "Oh, that's so great." I get other people do maybe, but not me.
She needs to get her comedy team or her writers working. Get Zach Rance on it, and she's just like,
Yes, yes,
she has her writing team.
yeah. Maybe that's part. She's not a good like stand-up comedian, and not everybody is. And she's this is the character that she's kind of going with, laying into, because that's what she feels like she's good at.
Sketch D.
There was some good lines. Like it's
Sketch B.
It's just
Sketch B.
she's laying into the villainous, but not in a good way. Not a good like anti-hero.
She
More
did
of
the splits.
yeah.
Okay, Jeff, what did you think of the veto competition tonight?
I thought it was like
Yeah, with the pictures in the order.
Did we see this already?
No, I think they definitely did it on Big Brother Canada, didn't they, this year?
Wasn't it the first competition where like this is how they determined who was going first or who was captains?
Maybe, yeah, or some version of this.
The planes.
Right. It was with like a glass
planes of
windows.
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they have done a kind of a version of this. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, like just I don't know. It was Claire who got to narrate how this worked and how this competition was, which I was not. She was putting me to sleep. She hurts my brain when she talks. Like I don't know. I in all seriousness, it's like I shut down a little bit.
You're not alone. All she does is narrate. That's all she does.
She narrates, but
she doesn't play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, right. She doesn't play the game, and all of her like stuff tonight. Like, I think we should make these moves, and she thinks she's got all these. Like, they have no idea. Like Sarah Beth, Tiffany, or not Sarah Beth. Sorry, not Tiffany. Sarah Beth, Alyssa, and Claire. Like, they don't know what's going on. Like, it's how could they? No one's telling them. But the dynamics of that are just like, well, we feel bad, but I can't be like Kylan says tonight. I can't tell her. So I just have to.
Or can he?
Why can't he explain why he can't tell her? Like why is it like just explain to us in the DR why it's detrimental for him to do so, and then I think people will kind of start to understand it a bit more. And I would say Amanda and I were talking about this like when the conversation was going on between Kylan and Hannah, we saw only from kind of like Hannah's point of view why she wasn't going to do this and what she thought of Kai, but we never get to see kind of like what Kai thinks of Hannah or what Kai is thinking about Tiffany when Tiffany's talking to the cameras, and it's pretty obvious she's talking to the cameras and he walks right by her. Why don't we see his point of view on the other players in the house? We only see
his
like
point of view is dumb.
What's his point of view?
That he is an intellectual. He is superior and smarter than all of them, and he is a master manipulator. And he can get anyone to do anything that he wants.
I have a lot of conflicting emotions.
Does he say that like in the house? Does he say that in DRs that we're not seeing? Like, because I'm not really getting that.
Well, I think Kylan also thinks he's overconfident. I think he thinks he's smarter than he actually is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean tonight, like we literally saw from like I think 3 players or 4 players in the house. Like we didn't see an Azza like at all. We didn't see Alyssa at all.
No, Azza was like giving those times in that competition. Okay, that was your time is. I didn't record it because who needs to hear that again? But like it was just like hello, Kylan. Hello, so and so. I am a robot.
Yeah.
Going
through the motions.
I go through the motions. I am the announcer.
Is this good?
Uh,
Yay.
You know.
No penis.
Yeah, and so yeah, that was all we got from Ozza tonight. Not even not much, but okay. The actual after the competition was over though, like, and Jaemeel, you had mentioned you thought the outfits.
I like the shirts.
You like the shirts? What about the socks?
Socks were okay.
Yeah,
like I like high socks. I'm a high socks.
You're okay
person.
with the high socks? They look like they were from Germany, perhaps, or somewhere, but it was
the Germans.
Just with, or it was kind of almost Canadian sock too. It was almost like
Oktoberfest.
It almost looked like it almost had that. It was sort of or like a Canadian style sock. And then once the competition was over, it became about this whole thing, like kind of like, I can get Hannah to use the veto. Which really became but we didn't mention also the competition. We kind of talked about the movie too. That the reward that Hannah got, which was she got to take 3 people to go watch Dear Evan Hansen. Jeff, were you familiar with this? Have you ever heard of Dear Evan Hansen?
Well, I saw the trailer when I went to go see Free Guy last weekend. Other than that, no. Amanda was saying that it's a musical in New York and that
Broadway.
A lot of the people in the movie are from the musical.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I never heard it. I don't know. I dare I play some.
Outside, always looking in. Will I ever be?
Oh my God, watching a movie.
Because I'm tapping on the glass.
My friend is a huge fan. She sang it at karaoke actually. She sang a song from it.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know. It sounds like something I would like because I like those kinds of
Super
things.
Mader Brothers reviewing it. Yes,
confirmed. I would do it. If you want, I'd do it. Sure.
I'm excited for Tick Tick Boom. It's coming out in October.
Oh yeah, Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah. So
is that another musical?
Well, it's the musical Jonathan Larson wrote before Rent.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see like a little. Yeah, this sounded better. What I heard tonight sounded better than that Tick Tick Boom thing, but that I just fun.
To be fair, it takes a couple of songs for Rent.
Yeah, I'm not giving my full review of either thing yet, but just based on those initial impressions, I was excited about one more than the other. However,
okay, just to talk about this musical, and I haven't seen it before, but from the trailer and from what I've seen tonight, it looks good and looks like the songs are good and everything. The narrative of the story is like super deep and super like, I mean,
emotional.
There's no way you're not gonna cry, and there's no way, So
this movie has a lot of important messages.
Yeah, like, so and the thing with these movies is like I kind of like walk into them and go, this movie's already gonna get me, and but it's kind of like walking into a superhero movie, like a Marvel movie, and you're gonna get amped up for it. It kind of bothers me. It's like, damn, they're gonna get me, and I know it. And
like when we go to see Shang-Chi,
right? Yeah, exactly.
In IMAX on Friday.
Yeah.
Or is it Shang-Chi? I keep saying Shang-Chi.
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 Oh,
Shang-Chi.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it like that too.
Mispronounce it each way. Just keep on going. Shang and Shang. Shang-Chi.
I was so used to Shang-Chi.
Is it
Shang-Chi?
Shanghai?
I don't know. Who's to say? Not me. Yeah. So yeah, but the most of the time when they preview movies and stuff like this, I go, it's not something I'm usually interested in. But tonight it did cross over with me. What did you think of the choice for Hannah to take the 3 nominees? Everybody on the block. Was that just kind of the easy thing to do, or the classy thing? Yeah.
Super sketchy.
No.
Again, why didn't we see any conversations with Sarah Beth trying to get the veto played on her? Why didn't we see Xavier at all have to work for this veto to be played on him? Like, everything's just going well for Xavier, and he's not even like having to play very hard. Like, that bugs me, like
he at first he was like, why would you use the veto on me? And then eventually he's like, yeah, we could, because there was no one going back up. So it's like, yeah, we could just use it.
Yeah, now you have my vote.
And from Hannah's point of view, it's great to get her in with Alyssa, because now Alyssa has shown that she trusts Hannah more now because she helped Xavier.
Right. Xavier's, yeah, I have Xavier. I was never worried about him going at any point. He could have been on the block, off the block. Doesn't matter. He's got it made.
Yeah, too much. Like, I know you have him in the draft day, but doesn't it kind of bug you that like he's gonna get to the end of this game and he's had to work less hard than Derek Levasseur had to work? You know,
does it bug me? Not really. Just because, like, what's he gonna do about it? You know, it's like they're handing this to him on a platter. You know, it's like a silver platter. Yum yum yum, like he talked about, right? Did she call her Sketch B? She sure did.
Sketch B.
Yeah.
I think you've been spending a little too much time with Sketch B. Sorry, SB.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of a, I don't know, I get a hint of jealous girl there a little bit too.
They have a rivalry. They have a feud.
Yeah. Right.
They've not liked each other for a while though.
Yeah. But no, I mean more toward Kylan, like I don't know, like it kind of.
I don't think kind of likes.
No, I don't think so either. But it just I get this like I don't know vindictive feeling out of it, you know.
Jeff changes his name more than Kanye West and Prince.
The artist formerly known as Jeff B. Bean. Thank you.
Kai. As you're known tonight. Yeah, Tiffany was not. You're saying
You might be slick, but you can't fool me.
Is she gonna get her comeuppance?
Kai. Hope so.
Kai.
It's who? Hannah?
No.
I kind of shifted onto Tiffany. Yeah.
Yeah, Tiffany. Okay.
Villain or hero?
Both. She's playing both roles. I think there are people who cannot stand her, and I think there are people that love her.
Oh yeah, there's people that love her.
Amanda loves her. Amanda is cheering for her so hard and wants her to win. Okay, sorry, I got it for a second. Yeah, for me, I'm not cheering for, like I told you guys before, I'm cheering for Big D at this point. I'm going for Big D. That he's my only player that makes me smile and makes me laugh in this house. So I have to keep going I have to go for him.
Yeah, I think he's rootable. I think like the 6 are kind of rootable. I'm like, like in different ways. They're kind of a quirky, weird 6, like the long, and the fact that we have to watch 3 more evictions, 3 before we can kind of get to the end game. It's kind of like the most frustrating part for me. However, I'm trying to embrace it and just say, like, we kind of know who's getting evicted week to week. That's not the question. The really question is like, how are these relationships going to evolve as they go through the motions? What are the dynamics going to be, and how will the chess pieces on the board be arranged by the time they get there? Xavier, he's got no enemies really, and nobody's coming for him. He didn't even want to be off the block, and he was like, "Oh, sure, I'm off the block."
I'll do it.
What more could he ask for? It's he has no adversity, but he will eventually. I think unless he doesn't, unless he does it.
He has some adversity. Unless he does it.
Well, the other option is like everybody else takes everybody else out, and he's just sort of like the bystander who's left at the end.
That is my hope for Big D. I hope it gets to the 6, and then Kai's going after Xavier, and Xavier's going after Hannah, and we just see like these swings coming after each other, and a Big D is left at the end with Ozza. It's like,
is Big D like Mr. Pink at the end of Reservoir Dogs? Or
yeah, maybe.
He's the guy who survives the Mexican standoff.
I kind of hope that's how it turned out. I mean, I know Amanda agrees with you, Jaemeel, that Big D sucks and that he thinks he's running this house and he's overconfident.
It's not the matter that Big D sucks. I don't mind Big D except when he's doing some annoying Beyonce that whole thing. I tell people no.
Come on, look where he was. But
okay, I didn't mean sucks. I meant.
You're telling me if you were there standing back and you see that grown person do that, you're like, no, that ain't it, friend.
I agree with you 100%. But me sitting on my couch at home is all here for it because it's entertaining me and it's making me smile.
He's so much sass. It's just fun, right?
if Tiffany had any other CD besides that Beyonce one, I would purposely ask Tiffany to listen to it all the time so he couldn't have access to that Beyonce one, just because. It's like, I want to listen to the Beyonce CD. Sorry, Jameel's borrowing it because he's listening to Chris Gaines. I don't even care.
Chris Gaines?
Chris
That's
Gaines.
a deep cut, man.
That's a deep cut. Garth.
She got Beyonce.
I had to plug Beyonce.
Oh, jeez. Can you do me a favor and plug her, please? Can you plug her? Plug her, please.
Not that kind of one.
Do you know who needs to play Celebrity Big Brother? Garth Brooks.
As Chris Gaines?
First week, he's like, I got an alter ego.
What if he tries to play as twins, where he swaps in and out or something?
Have you guys seen the stuff with him with Garth Brooks, where he's like this, like every time he's on social media or whatever, he's like, I just hear everybody's on Facebook and talking about what's going on in their world, and I like that. And he's just like super, like he's overly creepy, but he's trying to be like sincere and genuine. Yeah. I need to see him on like a Big Brother or something, because I want to know if it's real or if it's a total facade.
So, right after he says that, someone goes in the DR, has a DR message, is like, seriously, I think Garth is gonna kill us.
yeah, exactly.
Do I scream? Question here is, do I scream like that when you listen to Beyonce? I do not. No. Maybe for. No, maybe for Dreamgirls, but she's what she's in. But and I don't really scream like that ever. But okay, and then comment here though is Tiffany will end up with more final twos than Tyler Crispin. Will she get burned by them if they compare notes?
But who's gonna like the only smart people that are gonna compare notes is probably Hannah. Damn it, Hannah, Xavier. Yeah, Hannah, Xavier. I think those are the only two they're going to compare them.
I could see Kylan comparing notes with Xavier.
Yeah, but Xavier would not believe that Tiffany would purposely keep Kylan after not liking Kylan so long.
Yeah.
You see, that's fake. That's fake. She go get you.
But the problem is, like, when they get to the 6, if Kylan gets taken out, okay, Xavier's gonna look around the house and go, "Oh crap, it's me and Big D," and which means girls are gonna win the HOH, and then they're gonna try and get me out.
Well, it depends on who wins to take out Kai, because if it's Xavier to get rid of Kai, then Xavier can't win HOH the next round, and then most likely one of the girls would win, and then he's on the block. Xavier's on the block.
This is the problem, and Xavier's smart enough to know that Kai's his only shield left, you know.
But at the same time, Kai is so full of himself that he would think that he can get rid of Xavier and have a clear path to the end.
Maybe, but I don't know. I think tonight should have told Kai that he can't manipulate these girls the way he thinks he can. You know,
his influence is not as strong as he'd like to hope.
Give me the veto. No.
Yeah, no, in no universe was she ever going to.
All I needed from Hannah was a the fuck kind of look.
I do have this one. You bleeped out the F. But...
Okay, we didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't hear that?
Yeah, you laughed, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I thought you laughed because you couldn't make it play, and we were just sitting here in silence.
No, shut the up, Kylan.
No, that
worked. That time.
Yeah. Okay, that was a fun moment in the house. In the DR, like Amanda loved it. Did you guys love that moment where she was telling Kai? Yeah.
I do enjoy Tiffany in the DR. I think she is one of the more entertaining people left, compared to Kylan, who does nothing for me, entertainment wise. You know, he's the one I want to get his comeuppance on. He's the one I want to see go sooner than later.
The dude thinks he's such a mastermind, and the way that he tries to maneuver, it's just so it's exhaustingly annoying. So not that it's important, it's going to impact what's going to happen tomorrow, but he has been for last week and also this week hinting at the big alliance, right? In the goodbye messages to X, he mentions that there's a big alliance, right?
Right.
And then to Sarah Beth, he goes, I have a conspiracy theory. And he's like, my conspiracy theory that there's a huge alliance that we're not a part of. And this alliance consists of like DX, Alyssa, Claire, like, and he includes some members of the Cookout. And it's like, they've been undetected because they've been paired up. And she's like, no, I don't believe it. That doesn't make any sense. You know, and she asks like, you know, very rational questions, and he like gives an answer. And she's like, I don't believe it. That doesn't make any sense. Only because he's not including the like correct people. Like, why would this huge alliance let DX leave? Right? But it's him like grooming her to prepare that there is actually a big alliance when she leaves the house and she gets that information. Right?
Yeah. And I also think that what he wants is, because he thinks he's getting to the end of the game. So when he gets to the end of the game and Sarah Beth is on that jury, he wants Sarah Beth arguing for him, not against him.
Right.
And,
Right.
You know,
he wants it's jury management as well, because he of course thinks he's going to win the money. Question here too, though, is who's going to have the hardest time accepting that Cookout news of the non-Cookout members who's left? Sarah Beth, Claire, or Alyssa?
Sarah Beth.
I think Sarah Beth.
And I will be mad.
But that's out of that group. Overall, it's going to be Brittany. Brittany's going to be so pissed.
Why do you think? I mean, yeah. Why do you think Sarah Beth wouldn't be more mad than Brittany? Because I mean, she's being, to me, like, her relationship with Kyland is way more tight than Brittany's ever was with Ozza. You know what I mean?
Because Sarah Beth could rationally look at the situation and go, man, that was a super huge alliance. I know enough about Big Brother that I can kind of respect that situation. That's what you get.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Brittany's. What are you trying to say? She's irrational?
Irrational?
Wait, she had some pretty she had her moments.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to potentially kick your ass in this comp and shut you up a little bit.
Isn't it kind of funny how opposite Brittany and Kyland are? Like, I mean, like, they literally could not be more of an opposite player, you know?
Right. She's all emotion. He's like devoid. He's like the Vulcan, and she's Klingon.
Yes,
know?
Yes, that's
none
a
of them know
great
how many
analogy.
black belts I have, but they about to see the 4th degree black belt come out.
You have, Kyland, you have not seen the fury of my black belt.
Yeah, and Kyland's
I love that. Of my black
Is that something
belt.
that we can agree to and try and reset and do?
I think you're right. It's kind of, we got who's all right. I think we kind of got Tiffany's the Romulan for sure. She's kind of like, she's strategic, but she's definitely got some emotion going on behind that strategy. And I don't know, is Hannah Cardassian? I feel like she's Cardassian.
I feel like she could be a Cardassian. Jaemeel, question here for you. Will Kai reveal the Cookout to Sarah Beth in the goodbye message and lie and say he was the leader?
People are speculating that he's going to do something like that because he wants to control the narrative. And Hannah's been like trying to come up with a consensus with the team to say, hey, maybe we should be the ones to control the narrative before any one of us gets into the jury, and kind of like, you know,
can start that as well, right? Because imagine Derek F's the first one to get to the jury, and none of them know about the Cookout, and he'll say, "I was the leader of the Cookout," and
they betrayed me.
And they betrayed me, and like it could be like a completely unpredictable element, right?
Let me ask you guys this, because Man and I talked about this. That when Hannah and Kylan were having that conversation, okay, and he wanted the veto to be played on him Do you think that was actually about, trying to give Sarah Beth a sympathy vote, trying to?
No.
All right. I said the same thing. I think that was about power and control. That was about trying to figure out if he can get anyone else in his alliance to do what he wants them to do. And and I do think it's actually, I think it was actually kind of smart on his part to do this, because I think it at least told him that, okay, I can't always get what I want.
Tiffany's the boss.
Tiffany's the boss, and it's telling him that directly. And I think he's smart enough to figure that out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's not smart enough to figure that out. But I think if that doesn't tell you that Tiffany's
But he's
not the
also, I
boss,
think Tiffany had a good point where she's like, you told me to put you up.
Highland, you told me to put you up next to Sarah Beth.
You told me.
Yeah.
My issue is, like, why would you want to change the noms, right? Xavier getting removed versus you are two different scenarios. So you're telling me that you would want Xavier to stay on the block, and then you would want Kylan to come down, and most likely another cookout member to
go up.
It's like,
yeah, or what's the benefit of putting a non-cookout member up next? There's no benefit. Like, it only creates more like chaos, right? If you're
unless
the majority.
you convince Claire to put Alyssa up, but then Claire knows that she's not competing the next HOH, and she wouldn't want to take that shot.
BB's asking Jeff here. So Jeff, she acknowledging your point from before, and so how will that affect Kylan? He cannot lead the others like he led Sarah Beth. Does he not have that influence?
Well, that's why I think the speculation of him blowing up the alliance and the goodbye message is real, because that's why I also think it was smart for him to do this, because yes, he's pissing off Hannah. Yes, it's going to get around, but that doesn't matter. He's trying to figure out whether or not he can manipulate them, and if he knows he can't, then he knows he needs to win competitions, which is good. I'd want to know if I have to win the competition, instead of being in this false sense of security and letting someone else win and then hope they don't vote me out. You know what I mean?
Got a comment here from Mary. Kylan can't lead a dog to water.
Wait, what does that mean about Sarah Beth?
What does it say?
Snap.
She's thirsty.
She's one of the greatest Big Brother players of all time.
Who said that?
Nobody.
Said nobody.
Said nobody. Not even. Yeah, Sarah. One of the.
Okay, I do think. All right, can we talk a little bit about Sarah Beth tonight, Dave? Because I think this is our last episode with her in the game. And
hi everyone.
Yeah.
Last rites.
Yeah, last rites. Yeah. Name of the father, Kylan. And
this is like that. Yeah.
She wakes up from sleeping and someone's standing over her going like this, and they're like, what? It's like, why are you doing that? It's like, oh, just do your last rites.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think just kind of crying on Kylan's shoulder was her best bet? Why do you think she was doing that? Do you think that was based off she knows how helpless she is in the game? And considering she was HOH last week, why is she behaving this way?
Well, she doesn't really know. She's not in the know, really, right? She's not controlling things. Like, she really, she thinks what she thinks is going on in the house is actually not. She's kind of a pawn. She thinks she's the pawn. She thinks Kylan is going to go, right? Even at this moment, she thinks Kylan's the one being sent out, even though it's definitely her. And so, but she kind of knows that she doesn't really know, and therefore is very likely vulnerable. She just came off being HOH. And, and when you go from HOH to being evicted the next week, I think it's got to take a toll on you, no matter who you are.
You thought you were in a better position than you actually were. You thought you were building relationships that seem to have completely just done a 180 on you. So, you're just kind of lost as to what happened. It's just slipped out of her fingertips.
Well,
yeah.
She said tonight that the reason why she was crying and upset was because, even the secret HOH put her, did the same noms, right? And it's an unlikable thing. She thinks she's unlikable, and she basically told Kylan to his face that they're not likable. And he's like, "What? Oh, that's crazy."
You think Baby D wasn't likable,
right?
You thought Travis wasn't likable.
she's like gonna be like, of course, when he wins fan favorite of the year, Kyler's gonna be like, what? It isn't me and my manipulation.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, if he owned his manipulation, maybe, but he's not selling himself as a strategic player to America.
Do you think but do you think like production's being fair with him as far, or is he just like kind of like, I think he is kind of deluded in his head that he's this nice guy and he's just playing this game, and yeah, it's tough, and just everything he says in the DR, I'm just kind of like, you are such a phony. Like,
dude is good. Like, out of everyone in the cast, I think he's gonna have the hardest time coming out of the house, because the way people are just picking at each thing that he does in the house. His Twitter, I don't know if you've heard what was going on, but they went through his Twitter account and they were kind of laughing, like it went viral. People were laughing at how many complaints he's lodged against different companies, right? So much so that even CBS recognized it, right?
Like, what kind of complaints and what kind of companies?
Oh, dude. Oh, wait. Oh, let me look. I think it's like hashtag Kylan complains is like the hashtag.
Now look it up and we'll get back to it. Okay, a little bit about all right, Big D. I kind of want to talk about him because I do feel that there's a chance that Big D can take control of this game. I think you guys think I'm crazy, but I think he's one of these people that has a number. He has Azza. Okay. I do think he kind of understands where Tiffany, how much control she has in the house, whereas I feel like the other players don't, other than Xavier. And I think there's a chance that Big D can do something. What do you think, Dave?
Like, if he wins power, who knows, right? At the right time. Like, I think everything with Derek F's game is going to come down to timing, because he's, I think everyone's considering him sort of a threat, but he's part of the six, so he's not a priority to get out right now and worry about, and he hasn't been winning anything. So until he starts, he's just not going to be considered very highly as a target either.
Right, but once those boys go, like once Kylan and Xavier are maybe out of the house, even one of them wins HOH and can compete, I think, I'm not saying he's going to win because he's a guy, but I think because he has Azza, that's two people, and then they just have to beat Tiffany and Hannah, and I think that's possible.
I hope so. Like, I'm not rooting for Derek F per se, but I don't know. I don't hope. I hope, but I don't have any expectations for him either, because I don't think he's that savvy.
I don't think so either, but I'm entertained by him, and I do think he's the only player that's kind of been somewhat of a resistance to the big alliance, and Azza too. But they just kind of fall in the background and they just go with whatever's going on because they know they can't win competitions at the end of the day. Right. But it just takes one. It just takes one thing that's your thing.
Like, they might be sleepers, like Azza or Big D come out of nowhere and suddenly do something, but chances are they won't.
Right. I agree. But I'm hoping. I'm like, it's my only hope left for this season. For me. I mean, because I'm not a big fan of the strategic players in this house.
But every time you lose a play, like when they finally get down to the six, each one of those six, they're a number, they're a vote. They have a chance of winning, right? Yep. So like we could dismiss Derek F and Azza, in the early weeks, but now every week it's gonna you can't dismiss them as much.
Your odds go up.
Yeah, and like comment from Mary, she thinks that Big D will be the first to go from the cookout. But like one player who shouldn't want that is probably Kylan, because Kylan, Big D loves Kylan.
Yeah.
Right. He thinks he's Batman.
I think that's the reason why Big D has not blown up the alliance, because he's with Kylan. But what if Kylan is obviously like figured out? Like, what if Kylan teams up with Azza and Big D, and that becomes a 3? I would be.
He would never do it. Do you know why?
Why?
Because he's Batman.
Kylan's like Batman. You don't know what's on his mind.
It's also because he thinks he's elitist. I think he thinks he's the best, and he thinks of. I think he thinks Big D and Azza is not as. his caliber.
Are you telling me he's one of these players that's like, I want to sit beside Xavier because I want to go up against the best and beat the best? Is he one of those guys?
I just don't think he would form a 3 with those two because
why not? It would be a great 3 for him to do that with. You know,
it would be. I just don't know because of his ego. I think his ego would get in the way. Is basically my answer. Okay, question here. Assuming that the cookout makes the final 6, who are the first 3 to go and in what order? And what do you guys think? Okay, that's a big scenario. But okay, let's come back to that because Jaemeel, do you have anything about these tweets? Because yes, apparently Kyland is a Karen. He's the Karen of social media. Yeah. What kind of things? Can you give me one example?
I can't hear you right now. Just you turn your mic off.
Okay, because I was giggling.
Oh.
Let's see. I'll try to do in Kylan voice too. It's not just the color though. Apple made it so iMessage features and regular texting don't work as perfectly together. It's almost all trivial, but still enough differences to make you uncomfortable when you aren't using image. Non-trivial difference equals iMessage works on Wi-Fi. Or my the favorite one. Adult Swim, can you please make your app less stupid? Just make it like every other content streaming / on-demand app. It's currently annoying to navigate via app, computer, Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV. I'm sorry to whoever designer friend is going to lose here, but this is terrible.
Oh, that's who Kyland is.
So why are we not seeing this person in the house?
Well, he doesn't have his Twitter.
He doesn't have a bad word to say about anybody in this house, Dave. He is the utter gentleman. He's on best behavior. He's not being himself.
No,
right?
he's not being. I don't think we're getting the true Kyland. No,
Yeah.
He knows he's on TV.
Right. But like so does Hannah, and she's calling Sarah B sketch B. She's willing to lay into her villainous nature.
Yeah, I think Kyland has a very heightened sense of awareness around his image.
Right. Why? If he's willing to put that on Twitter, but he's not willing to, in a game for $750,000, say a bad word about anybody, I find that strange.
Well, he can defend it, like like I don't know. Like there's Kylan just reminds me. If even people Jeff, you and I are related to, like there's just like that kind of like I don't know, a je ne sais quoi. It's just a.
But yeah. I don't think I kind of think it's like he's playing the game with the politics, and he thinks he needs to be a nice guy and trying to be as well liked as possible within the house. And I think he saw early that that was working. People literally, who was it that saved him? It was on Frenchie's HOH. Somebody saved him.
Wasn't it Derek X?
Yes, it was Derek X. And I think he saw that. Oh, okay. My personality, and if I lay into, hey, how's it going? I'm a nice guy. I'm calm. I never get angry. That works, and I think he's just been riding that in this house.
Just a follow up. This is from the book of Kyland, May 18th this year.
It spits hot fire.
I just found out when Mark Cuban responds to emails. He does so within 7 minutes of receiving them. I no longer have any excuses for my own delays in email and text responses. I will do better moving forward. Feel free to call me out accordingly. Prayer hands.
Oh, we'll be calling you out, Kyland. Don't you worry.
He likes a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Oh, come. Oh, my. Oh, I feel bad for him in some ways.
Why?
Because it's just like, come on, are you like what are you doing?
I think it's hilarious because, he's he's got like this philosophy of never get upset, but he has no problem complaining online.
No, like these other. I see this in social media sometimes. I want to share my opinions about all kinds of like boring things. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
one boring opinion after the other, what no one cares about, not even the company responding to it. You know, but it's
Look,
like engagement.
Here's the reality of the situation. If you think that if I get ever on Big Brother, I'm putting a stop to my Twitter account. I'm hiding it. No
Yeah,
one's
just
gonna be
go
for the
private
thing.
on everything. Instagram, everything will go private.
Because Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
Because like I complain. I straight up know I'm complaining about everything. I don't like you. I'm complaining. You know, if I don't like something, Beyonce, I'm talking
You
about
tell
it.
her. You tell Beyonce.
I'd say, yeah.
I'm not a fan either of Beyonce. I mean, yeah, I don't get the appeal.
You don't get the
Okay.
appeal. Maybe
No.
she's just not or she's too bootylicious for you.
She's too
Just
bootylicious for me.
too much.
Too much
Jeff,
so.
I think I can confirm you're not ready for the jelly.
I'm not
Yeah.
ready. Not yet. Not ever. Maybe.
Oh, sorry, that's a good one.
I like
okay.
Kelly Rowland. I'm a fan of Kelly Rowland.
Wasn't she in that Freddy Krueger movie? Freddy versus
No,
Jason?
she was in Destiny's Child.
No, I think she was in. I think she was.
I remember that. Okay, let's go back to this question. So, okay, like Cookout's getting to Final Six, which we're all assuming. So, what will Jeff? What from now? What will be like? Who are the three to go? Like, what once we get the first three to go? Once we get down to 6,
I think it's going to be the first. I think will be Kyland. Unless it's tough actually. Okay, all right. Let me reset here.
Oh, sorry. Just before you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't have to worry about it. My account my old account is currently suspended. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Even
the bodies
better.
are buried.
Bodies are
Done.
Well,
Actually,
just to see someone's response to what I said was, let's see, Jaemeel, show me on the doll where Beyonce hurt you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff.
No,
Sorry,
no
Kai.
You think Kyland will be the first?
Yeah, no, actually, I think it'll be Azza first, and then Kyland, and then I think it will be, then I think it's going to be Xavier. Those are my three.
No, it's good. This is what I think. I think it's going to be Big D. Then they're going to get out Kyland, and then Xavier.
Ooh.
And then it will just be the
So
women.
We only disagreed with one.
But I think the women are going to take out the men, basically.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Azza might get taken out instead of Big D, because Big D's the ultimate goat.
Which is why if you're anyone, you don't want to be in a position where he replaces a spot that you can possibly be in.
Yeah,
Jaemeel, your answer to this: Cookout gets down to 6. Which of those? Who of those 6 are going to the first 3?
Big D, Kylan, and then probably Tiffany.
Okay, so
you think Azza is gonna have that? Like, it's gonna be the
why
position?
why would you vote out Azza?
I mean,
Like,
you wouldn't.
Why?
Because like you feel like you can do it any week possible. Any week possible.
Yeah, but like we're getting down. It gets down to 6. There's
we're
only
down to 6 now, and
You
now
think that
5 after Big D. And
Jeff, I think with one hand tied
Yeah.
behind your back and maybe a blindfold on, I still think I could beat her in the final 3 HOH.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, no, if it's up to like Hannah and Tiffany, they're gonna want Azza over even Big D probably.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, guys. Who? The better question is, who do you think's gonna win HOH at 6? Because that's ultimately gonna be what decides this. And
Claire's
Claire's gone by then.
Claire's gonna be gone next week, and she doesn't even see it coming. What if Alyssa wins HOH after next week? And
What if Alyssa wins it at 7, right?
At 7, and then someone from the Cookout has to go home, and then like that to me is the more interesting thing, because that's gonna everyone's thinking that way in the house. You like they're all thinking at 6, this is what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be the Cookout's gonna be left, and it's gonna be girls against boys, and we're blah 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 blah, and we're gonna do this. But what if Alyssa wins and then puts up 2 guys and takes out Big D or something.
Well,
right?
I think if
Which-
Alyssa wins, they'll just get her to do what they want.
And it'll be Kyland and
X.
Right. So the guys will have the control.
No.
No, not
Xavier will have all the influence. Xavier and Tiffany will have all the influence
It'll
over
be-
Alyssa.
it'll be Kyland and probably Azza, maybe that might be put up. Because
Maybe.
once again, the goodwill that Hannah put in. So what she did was Alyssa wants to make a partnership, saying that X and herself with Hannah could team up, and then Hannah's like, "Well, I know Xavier's gonna, take your side instead of mine," and then Alyssa's response is, "Okay, well, maybe you should bring in another person, and we just make it a strong four." And then Hannah said, "Yeah, Tiffany will be my fourth." So if this is the case and Hannah wins, she's going to be going for Kyland and most likely Azza or possibly Big D. And Tiffany, Hannah, and X are safe. And then there's no way that Alyssa can play in the next HOH, and then whoever is left can easily vote her out. So Hannah did some work today to kind of to save that.
But Hannah's, again, we were talking about comparing notes. Is Hannah overplaying her hand right now? I feel like she's in the position in the house where she should be not letting everybody else kill each other, and then be standing there at the final three, and then from there try and win the game.
Well, I think that her thought process is that she just needs to make sure that when they're shooting each other, she's to the side and they just don't point the gun at me.
But
so
I think
I'm on your side, and then when someone turns around, it's like,
right. I just want to. I think what she's doing right now in the house. I mean, when we'll get to it in the spoilers, but she's really. I think she's overplaying her hand if notes are going to be compared. So I'll leave it.
Mary's saying she's rolling with Tiffany from day one. It's her pick to win because she is the oldest in the cast.
Do I look old to you?
No, not at all, ma'am.
Not an old man.
Question here too: if Claire and Alyssa are on the block next week, will they release the cook? Will then they realize the cookout? No. The answer is no.
No. I think, and then who goes home? I think does Claire go home, not Alyssa? Like, wouldn't Tiffany want Alyssa to go home? And Tiffany seems to get what she wants.
I think they're still debating it. Yeah.
Who's debating it?
The cookout.
So you mean Xavier and Tiffany are debating it?
Primarily, but Hannah's involved too.
Right, now Hannah's involved. But again, Xavier obviously wants to keep Alyssa. Tiffany obviously wants to keep Claire. Where's the levee gonna break? What is it gonna burst here? Because I'm kind of waiting, and I just want. There's got to be a moment in this season where it happens.
Well, okay, if Claire, let's say they put up Claire next week, and somehow they say, "Well, Tiffany, this is your turn to sit next to Claire." Let's say Claire and Alyssa go up, and then but Alyssa wins veto, pulls herself down. Okay, so now Claire has to sit next to. Will Tiffany sit next to Claire?
I mean, she might have a choice if, let's say Xavier wins HOH.
He would do it. He would say, Tiffany, it's your turn to sit on the block next to your ally or whatever, right?
But I don't think Tiffany would make a big stink as much as Kylan was.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. I think she would.
I disagree.
I think when push comes to shove, the tension from that, of the just being on the block for Tiffany, has she been on? She has never been on the block.
No, she almost was.
If she does it with grace, I'm wrong, but I don't think she will, no matter what.
I don't think she will either.
I think she will.
She is, just watch her in the DR. She does not like when things don't go her way.
Yeah, when she's not in control, when things are like she attacks those things, And
blames
so,
people, like, kind of like, and sometimes justly so, but it's just her, like, her demeanor. It's like, Kai, what are you doing? It's like, why aren't you doing what I want? And it's just like, again, if that comes down to Xavier, I feel like who is kind of her closest ally in the house.
one of them, yeah.
I mean, who's her closest ally? She says Claire, but it's not
Hannah.
Is it? I guess it is now. It is this week,
Yeah.
But is it next week when Xavier wins HOH? No,
I think Tiffany can flip on you too, right? You know?
Oh,
But-
yeah.
So, like, I think there's a stock watch with Tiffany with the different relationships she has and how safe or not she feels at any given time, right?
True.
Yeah.
So, once the water gets hot for Tiffany, I think we are going to get a show.
Oh, yeah. I agree. 100%. She's not going to lay down and die easy. That's for sure.
Or even face a little bit of adversity easily.
Yeah.
without protest, I think.
I want to see Derek F or Azza win HOH in one of these crucial weeks and put Xavier and Tiffany on the block together. That you talk about chef's kiss, I would give that the chef's kiss.
All right, well, maybe we should get into the spoilers now and figure out.
You guys have spoilers?
Well, I heard a little bit today.
Okay, hit us with some spoilers. It's
Okay,
your turn, Big D.
Yeah, there's we know, like, come on, Sarah Beth's going here, but like let's get the spoiler, the Britney version, right? Oh yeah.
It's me.
Okay, spoilers. So yeah, I listened to a lot of the breakdown today, and like what I heard from the great Taryn Armstrong was that there was a lot going on with the final endgame discussions, what they're going to do as they, as we were alluding to, they're going to get out Claire, they're going to get out Alyssa, or Sarah Beth is done tomorrow. They have decided they are going to tell her at some point. They want to tell her that she's going to go because they all, they have been telling her that no, Kylan's the target and you're the one staying. But they're not putting a lot of work into making her feel much better about that. So they are just going to, oh yeah, you're safe. Now let's change the subject, and if that's Big Brother 101, if people are not trying to make you feel safe, it actually could be mean you're in trouble, right? Because it's the more they do it, the harder it becomes, right? So, will they tell her right before the eviction, you think, Jaemeel?
They could. They're not going to let Kylan do it. I think they're going to tell. I think they're going to give it a chance to be told.
And what will be the reason they'll make up?
Just because they don't want her feeling foolish when she gets voted out.
But let's just say, well, why are you voting me out over Kylan? What's the reason?
It is what it is.
It is
like why do you have to give her a response?
I don't know. Don't you? Isn't that the nice thing to do?
If she doesn't take it, you're like, okay, well, we'll see at eviction time.
Okay. I think I was thinking about this tonight during the episode. Once one of the members of the cookout gets to jury, are they going to tell the other jury members about the cookout, or is it going to be secret till vote?
That's why.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
That's why Hannah wants. She's like, we should announce it because we want to make sure that we're controlling the narrative. Because if someone, Kylan or Big D, get to the jury first, they're gonna poison that jury and say that they're gonna try to take all the credit.
Oh, Tiffany won't do that either.
I think it's more of a Hannah as a knowing those two people. Are more worried, and Tiffany's like, yeah, I can understand that.
What if it's Azza who gets there first, and she's like, I was running everything? No, she wasn't.
No, everyone will laugh.
I was the mastermind.
I don't know if that necessarily matters whether or not someone's running it or not. Just finding out the fact that there was this alliance that everybody was, doing and then had, was using their proxy relationships to get further in the game. I think that's just going to piss off, Brittany. It's going to piss off Sarah Beth. It's going to piss off. Yeah,
Well, it make her bitter largely against Derek F and Azza, likely, right?
Yeah, would DX be mad about this? I don't know. Probably not, because he was a big threat, and he was probably going to go home at some point anyway.
DX doesn't get mad about anything.
I think DX practically knows.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think he figured it out with Claire, which is why I'm so baffled by Claire in this game. You had the power tonight, girl, to do what you needed to do with the noms, and you acted like it was Tiffany's HOH week, and you chickened out, and then she realized she chickened out and it was the wrong decision. I think that was that scene tonight when she was like, "Is Sarah Beth going home? Good for my game?" No, and she had the opportunity to put up Kylan, Big D, and Xavier all at once, and she didn't do it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, who's the mastermind, Jeff?
Not Claire.
I mean, of what, this season?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I guess I would give the credit to Tiffany. She's definitely the one working the hardest, 100%.
And she created the cookout.
Yeah, but Xavier, I think, is kind of the mastermind. Yes, me.
No,
that's because stop it, Jeff.
Yeah,
he's like Professor X.
Yeah.
He's got the mind. Okay,
yeah, he sits in his chair all day and doesn't do anything.
This one covers your mouth, Jeff. This comment. If only one eviction per week, 6 players would be left by Wednesday, September 22nd. So, is there a triple on the September 23rd to get to 3 players for the finale? Could be, or it could be 2 doubles.
There's a 2-hour episode. I just don't know when. So that's probably a double.
Do you think they could do 2 doubles, but before? Because it's not having one all year has been kind of like a dull affair.
I hate it. There should be 2 a season mandatory. 1 pre-jury, 1 post-jury. I hate this drawing on of the games. And
1 week at a time, especially when you have an alliance like this that has it so locked down. You're like, okay, let's vamoosh, let's go.
Wouldn't it be like if tomorrow was a double eviction, we got rid of Claire and Alyssa, and we just got into like, okay, this is where the real game. This is the playoffs. We're into the playoffs now. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. We are okay. Assume the question here or comment. Assume final 2 is cookout. If the jury is bitter, what are they going to be bitter about exactly?
Well, anyone who was in the cookout won't be bitter because they'll know. But I just like, okay, the Claires, Sarah Beth's, Brittany's. What are they going to be bitter about? The fact they really had no chance. They had no chance in this game.
So if you have, let's say, a goat, do they decide to vote for the goat then?
Could be a Russell Hantz type situation.
And then Azza wins, and I'm like, yeah.
Where in Samoa,
Natalie
White won because they were bitter towards Russell. Worked his butt off to get all those vetoes, and I think a lot of people thought he kind of was given a lot of power that he should never have had in that game. And
it was that one dude's speech. Dude's speech.
Yeah, the one dude's speech where he's like, "This girl deserves it because she's a sweet girl, and you're a dick," basically. And
who says that? Not being. Who says being sweet is a weakness, and not cheating and not like lying is a weakness. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so BS.
Yeah.
He was just bitter because he got outplayed.
Yeah, and that's in Survivor at Last Outplay or whatever. That's it. Like that's part of it. And he did that. And the thing is that with Survivor, unlike Big Brother, is we don't get to see a lot of the interactions. And Russell is known for being kind of a jerk. So maybe he was a jerk to him and we never saw it. And so maybe that, or a jerk to other people, and that's why they were bitter.
And they were just like, never that guy, that guy, no matter what.
Right. And so that was kind of, because what happens in the next season in Heroes Villains is kind of what, but it was mainly toward Rupert, what happened, But
we later learned that Rupert isn't the best person anyways.
No, right. He's not the chill hippie man that he was. Oh, I'm a pirate.
Right. Right, and I watch a lot of like I've seen a lot of Russell stuff recently, and he talks about that time about like he was kind of out of his mind, but it's but and he seems like he's really changed in a lot of ways from what I've watched of him, and so I do feel bad sometimes like calling him a jerk or whatever, because I don't know if that's what the TV showed me. I don't know him in person. I don't know him as a what he's actually.
But as quick as someone could call him a jerk, they can call Rambo, Shambo, delusional.
Sure.
Obviously on the spectrum, like all sorts of terms and stuff that can be misconstrued, and so we understand that we are watching a television program, and it is a highlighted version, edited version that presenting people in specific facets and ways that does not do justice to the person's entire character. And it's a snapshot for a specific moment in time. It's not even to say that by the time it comes out, the person isn't changed, or by the time you interact. So just assuming that Russell Hantz equals asshole is not fair at all.
Right.
I'm gonna go. He's probably. I don't know. I don't have. My opinion of him is I would love to have a conversation with him and get a chance to know him.
Well, Russell, if you ever hear this, come on our show.
Yeah, let's get Russell Hantz on here, and we'll break down Big Brother.
I'm the greatest of all time.
Talk about us when Willie was thrown from the house for violence. Your brother.
Yeah, what happened with Willie? What happened with Brandon on Survivor? Why did both guys get thrown out of their games?
Okay, here's the next comment. If final two is cookout and at least one non-cookout winner, will select the winner. Because a cookout cannot select. Okay, so that in the jury. Okay, so the other four are there, of course, of the six, and then how many others?
So you got Brittany, SB,
Claire, Alyssa,
and Derek X. It's five.
So yeah, you're right. The cookout will not have the majority in the jury.
Right. But if is Alyssa really gonna not vote for Xavier to win the game, even if she learns?
Not if Xavier's there.
Why? Well, she will vote for.
But they have. But the cookout of the final two, they have to vote for one of those cookout people. It's impossible.
So the cookout wins regardless.
But the cookout doesn't decide who the winner is, really.
But their aim for this whole thing is so that one of them wins. So
that one of them wins, but maybe not the one they want. Like, what if it's Derek F? Like, maybe the other five members of the cookout will
they still win, because at the end of the day, if they do get to 6, they will be considered the most dominant alliance of all time.
Right. Yeah, but only one of them gets the $750,000.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm not necessarily worried about these people after what happens after this. So Xavier, you don't think he's going to have an uptick in cases as an employee benefits lawyer? Like, people are not going to specifically seek out his firm. You don't think Tiffany isn't going to get some kind of sponsorship to open up a bigger a business for her vampire business, right?
I am a phlebotomist.
Who else? I don't even know what Kylan does. Whatever, complains.
Complains online to social media companies.
Yes. He's gonna show up on Days of Our Lives because of drama. You don't think like Hannah going into school to become a teacher? She's probably not going to.
Brittany's the teacher.
No, isn't Hannah was looking to get into?
Well, she wants to be a doctor, doesn't she, or something?
Was it doctor? I thought she was.
She's like a post grad. I thought. I don't know. She's still a student, really, isn't?
Yeah.
As far as I understand.
So, she'll be more than fine. Kylan's going to be more than fine. Oz is going to be more than fine, right?
Yes,
because
as is in sales,
like as even within the sales, she'll probably do more modeling now. Honestly, after this, she has no as of right now. Like, what bad thing are they going to say about you? Didn't really play that hard, right?
I
med
thought it was
school.
funny. I thought it was funny that the pretty girl in the house was the slowest at the POV tonight, like by a lot. Like she was like 8.5 minutes. It took her
Alyssa?
like 3.
Oh, okay.
Alyssa, sorry, Alyssa. Sorry,
Okay.
Alyssa. What's his name?
Alyssa's is the prettiest girl in the house.
Well, I mean, like that's what everyone else says. Is she not?
The person I think put Operation No Man's in jeopardy would be Alyssa.
She's a swimsuit model. I mean,
Swimsuit designer.
I don't think I'm talking out of school.
She runs those models. She's the designer.
Right. I just think, yeah, like, I mean, yeah, I wasn't surprised when Sarah Beth and Hannah were the two best at it. I think they are I think they have the highest IQ in the house.
Kylan was very close behind them too.
Right, and Xavier didn't play it, so no, he did play it, but he
played it, but he had the worst time.
No, it didn't. I think Alyssa had the worst time.
Okay, then, but Xavier was not good either.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? The only other thing with spoilers was that Claire is starting to think she needs to start making moves. I heard, and
let's not go down this route. Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah, it's Claire's trying to get something going. Apparently,
Hey Jeff, if you win an anonymous HOH, which allows you to change the nominees at a whim and not let anyone know that you did it, right?
Yeah.
And you don't, and then the next thing you say is like, I need to make some moves.
Well, the first thing I wouldn't do is put up the exact same noms and then go tell the HOH what I did. That's not the first thing I would do.
Well,
Yeah.
technically, they would know it's only 1 or 2 people that would be able to do it, or 3 people, I guess, at the same time.
I would still do.
So excited.
So excited.
So
Screw us over.
Screw us over.
Her accent when she's like doing her entertaining voice is so odd.
It's like Fargo.
So odd.
Yeah, it's like Fargo mixed with New York, which makes sense. She's from Wisconsin and she lives in New York.
Yo, Julie.
Yo, Julie.
Yeah, it's so strange. It's like it shouldn't be. Like
This
it's
is the way she says squats.
The main squats I do is down to my computer chair
See,
and then
that's-
back up to get a snack.
Yeah.
That's more New York.
Yeah.
And so
Squats I do.
Squats I
there's
do.
this. All right, I watched a show with Amanda called Alone, and there was this woman on the show from, I think she was from the Midwest, but then she moved to England. Okay. And she would go back and forth between an American accent and a British accent and an English accent. And it was the oddest thing because she would say the same word like water, and then she'd go water. And then she would go like back and forth.
She was inconsistent with her pronunciations. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so strange. Like it's like almost like it was like she wanted to be have the English accent, and she was trying to keep it, but she was alone, and so it was difficult. And because she was originally American, but she lives in England now, and it was just so strange. And so like
That's Claire.
Claire, she only does it, if you notice, when she's doing DRs a lot of the time, or when she's doing her she's put on the spot, and then she's like,
As long as Coin of Destiny doesn't screw us over.
Screw us over.
It's so over the top, and I don't know.
So weird.
I don't know what you guys think, but
I think I've said everything I got to say about that. Yeah, Claire. I only thought tonight, what if it had been Christy? What if Christy, the hairless woman, the bald woman had come into this house instead? But if that COVID test, and we get Claire instead. A different timeline, a different universe, a what if story. Okay, let's take down the spoiler warning, and we'll wrap up the show for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for the comments and for subscribing and tuning in. Make sure we're here 3 times a week to talk about Big Brother as we'll wrap up this whole season. Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, always at 9:30 Eastern, following the broadcast on Global here in Canada or CBS in the States. Also, check out also here on Super Mario Brothers Podcasting, we've been covering Marvel Cinematic Universe content all year long, including WandaVision and the different Disney Plus shows that came out, also Black Widow some time ago. And coming up on Saturday, we're going to be talking about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, as we're all going to see that Friday night. And we'll be breaking that down Saturday morning, as well as I guess we got the What If series coming up too eventually, and Eternals after that. So I'm looking forward to talking about all of those. And what else am I forgetting? Jeff, we said we were going to cover something else. Oh, this Dear Evan Peters thing maybe we saw tonight. This little preview on the episode. Or Jaemeel, I'm down to cover that movie if you're into that. So and Jeff as well. Also, what am I forgetting? Jameel's like I'm engaged with Jaemeel right now with all this boxing he's doing, like Smoking Joe. Also, we have our Live Long in podcast, our Star Trek themed channel, where we talk about Star Trek multi times a week. Monday nights, we talk about Star Trek, the original series. We've been talking about every episode, not in order. Every Monday night, we talk about a new episode. Check that out. You can check the schedule to see what we're going to be talking about next, and all the back catalog if you ever want to just check out an episode. I heard in the States they're losing Star Trek, the original series on Netflix, and so if you're a Netflix person, check out our companion podcast if you want to binge on those original series. Plus, on Tuesday nights, we talk about Star Trek Deep Space Nine at 9-ish, as we say, covering every episode of that show in order. We're into season 4, which just last night we were talking about the episode Rejoined, the same panel you see here, same great team. And also tomorrow, Thursday night, we'll be talking about the next on Live Long on podcast, the next episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, which will be I don't know the episode name yet, but the 4th episode. We'll be talking about that tomorrow night, along with Devin Skellhorn from Locutors of Trek, second cousin to Jeff and I from out of Nova Scotia, and he's coming in to talk about that next episode with us. So we're excited about all that. Plus Trivial Debates, our channel where we argue about movies, TV, sports, and more every month. We just had an episode with Jaemeel hosting, and we had the Seymour Brothers and Mott. We'll be having an episode at the end of September, but I still have 30 days to figure that out. So and get that all booked in. So hey, no, thank you, BB, and thank you to all of our fans and listeners, and our everyone. We always love having you here every night. We're talking about this and getting the different conversations flowing. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And also, lastly, check out my son Eamon's podcast. It's called Let's Talk About Fighting Games. You can find that on Spotify and wherever you catch your audio podcasts. I think I got it all.
Whoo! And scene.
You're getting better at that.
Yep.
Yeah, getting better at that too.
Yeah, I had some breakfast today. I think it helped. Okay, and on that note, we'll take you away with some some different things. Maybe some of that. What do you call it? The movie thing they showed us tonight. This musical. Where is it?
On the outside, always looking in. Will I ever be?
Oh my God, watching a movie.
Cause I'm tapping on the glass.
Man,